We are joined by former England player who scored a hat-trick against Luxembourg for his sins. Luther Blissett. Good evening, Luther.
Good evening. How are you doing, guys?
I'm fine.
Luther.
Oh, we've got Brandon
Randy,
next.
how are you?
I'm good. Luther used
How's
to
the
be my
football going?
coach.
How's the football going? Have you played at all?
I've got an injury at the moment, broken
Have you?
toe.
Metatarsal.
Action.
Not good.
And I finally got asked to do
Physioing.
soccer 6 and I can't even play now because I've got a broken toe. I'm so annoyed after all these years.
I tell you, well, that's the most important thing out of the way. Let's talk about less important stuff, Luther, and that is the England situation and Daniel Sturridge. Club against country, we had the same problem last year. Brendan Rodgers saying, look, he's not playing for England if there's any signs of injury. Obviously, before this 6-week period, England have injured Sturridge in Brendan Rodgers' view. What's your view on it? Should he be playing for England even if he plays for Liverpool this weekend?
I think the important thing is if he actually starts the game for Liverpool at the weekend and he comes through it okay, then he should be in line to turn out for England next week. But if he's going to put him in off the bench, then the likelihood is that he shouldn't be involved really because he's not going to be match fit. And
in terms of the manager, obviously upset from last time and said, look, it's about light training. I mean, you said about coming on in the game, but surely if he's fit enough to play for Liverpool, he's fit enough to play for England?
No, you're not. No, I mean, it's a different thing altogether playing international, aren't they? I mean, you do need to be fit to do that. You can't just come on being half fit and do that. You can get away with it in your league games because the players around you and the way they play, everybody knows how that works. But with the England thing, especially the way that England now are trying to play, or looking to play, I should say, it's a bit more taxing on everybody, and you need to be at your best really to go and do that. And I'm sure he himself would not want to go out there and not put in a performance for people to be looking at him and saying, look, he didn't even try because of this and the other. So I'm of the mind that if he's not 100% fit, then he shouldn't be a part of it.
Do you think, sort of generalising a little bit, is compared to the 80s and 90s, that playing for England is not what it used to be? And some players, I'm not saying Daniel Sturridge in this instance, but other players, when they get involved in friendlies, certainly for England, they'll try to avoid playing for England, and that the club is so much more important.
Well, the club is, does seem to be that way, and I think for a lot of fans, I suppose if you were to do a poll, a lot of them would say they'd rather their players turn out and play for their club rather than play for their country, because unfortunately that's how it's become. With the Premier League and when you get in the Champions League and all that side of it, it's something that everybody wants to talk about, and it's always going to be about their own club. And England has become sort of almost secondary, but only time will change, and hopefully, Roy can build a team that will be successful and qualify well. And if we can do well in the Euros, then people might start to look at it slightly differently. Then the belief about England actually progressing and doing something will become more real.
Do you think we've got the young talent out there, Luther? I mean, obviously, before this previous World Cup, expectations were low. Do you think we've got enough young players coming through, and they don't really play at the big clubs either as well? That's obviously a downside. Not enough players play at the big clubs.
Yeah, no. I mean, you need to play at the highest level if you're going to be competing against the best players in the world, and that is obviously a bit of a drawback for us. But on top of that, if the players are playing every week and they've been successful, and then they get with the England players, and the majority of that England squad are players that are playing at the very top regularly, then it would do them no harm at all. It will only accelerate their progress. So I don't really see a problem. I think we do have a number of good young players. What they need to do is be playing regularly at the highest level, and then when England games come along for them actually to be playing. And we need to start as supporters, which is what I am now of England. That if it doesn't go well, sometimes we don't get on their backs about it too much. We've got to accept it that we are in a process of trying to get England back to a level that can compete with the top clubs, top countries rather, in the world. At the moment, we're not there. We're one of those clubs looking up at them at the moment.
Blasco.
Yeah, hi Luther. So Sturridge doesn't play for England. Which talent or which young talent has brought a sparkle to your eye to think he could do a good job against San Marino? In all honesty, there could be a few goals to have there. So.
Luther could play against San Marino, score a couple, couldn't you, Luther?
No, only if somebody could actually do the running for me and then just put me in the right place at the right time. That would work.
He couldn't even score in our Hot Girls FC.
Oh, steady.
Now the truth is
I
coming
swear
out.
I got a hat-trick in that game as well.
Who would you, Lufa, though, in all honesty, though, who would you like to see get called up if Sturridge doesn't make it to the squad?
Well, I think the team that we had out there the last time, I think we should go with that team. If Sturridge doesn't make it, that forward line that we started with, we should go with it again, because they'll only get better by actually playing with each other more regularly. And the thing is, if you give them the faith to say, look, we're going to put you out there again in a game where they are, the possibilities are that we could score lots of goals, then I think that can only be a good thing. And yes, there may be a lot of goals, but we all know occasionally you get these strange games where you may only get 1 or 2. But I'm hoping we will say 3 or 4 goals, and it'll be a very good, a more complete performance, I should say, from England. A bit like what they did after they sort of settled down a bit more in the last one.
Final question, Andy?
Yes, Luther. We're banging trouble, mate, if we can't muster a team to beat the mighty San Marino. Yeah,
I never said not be. We're expected to beat San Marino, and the players will know that. Yes, the pressure is going to be on them in a way to say you've got to go out there and beat them by an avalanche of goals. But the reality we know doesn't always happen that way. As long as they go out and they put in a good performance and they do win by 2 or 3 or maybe 4 goals, I think we should be happy with that, because what we're looking for is a progression from the last game to this one. And we can't just say and dismiss San Marino like that, because nobody deserves to be dismissed like that, because any day, on their day, they could actually put up a bit of a fight against you. That might happen.
Yeah, that's right. They did score against us, going back several seasons now.
That was the one where we didn't qualify, when we won 7-1.
Well, they scored first, and there was a panic throughout the nation for about, I'd say, at least 4 or 5 minutes.
Anyway, we're going to let you go, Lufa, but Brandy, quick question from Brandy.
Just going to the Championship now, obviously former Watford. What's your prediction for Watford versus Brighton this weekend?
Watford-Brighton, I will beat Brighton this weekend.
Yeah?
That's it. We will win. Yeah, of course we will. What's the matter with you, woman? Score?
Yeah.
We'll beat them by 2 clear goals.
Yeah.
And obviously, in relation to Watford, obviously they had problems with the manager, and that's well documented. Do you think Watford have the know-how to get out of that league this season?
But I think the squad is now is more complete. At the moment, we're having to adjust because Troy Dean, who's sort of been the leader of the attack, he's missing. But there's 1 or 2 players hopefully will step up over this next week or so, and put us in a good position. And really, all we can do is get through this one against Brighton. Then we've got a 2-week break, and before you know it, it's Troy will be back, and by then the team will be firing again. So all will be well. I think the squad's good enough. The manager. The new manager now, I think, having a good understanding of what it takes to get out of this division, I think if he can give that to the players and the belief that they're able to do this, I expect us this season to take one of the automatic places.
Right, okay. Strong talk. Thanks very much indeed, Lufa.
Thanks.
No worries.
Bye.
Thank you.
Enjoy, guys. Speak soon.
Bye.